This is Plus TV Africa Off the Press, a program where we review headlines in our newspaper with the help of public affairs analysts. My name is Felicity Ezewuike. Many thanks for joining us. We have a guest, as always, Gbolahun Olojede. Thank you very much for coming in.
Good morning.
Good morning. I hope you didn't have any trouble getting here.
No. I observed some police presence around a hotel. I don't know what that is all about.
Elections. All right, let's take a look at some of the papers here. The Nation, Vanguard, Daily Sun, This Day newspaper, and of course we have sports. But we'll just start things off with the Nation newspaper. The screamer here is Buhari, I will recover $16 billion Obasanjo government power cash. That's the first one. And then we have a rider that you have it on your screen. The rider on that story is what happened to power sector cash by ex-president. You see details. Let's go quickly to the top mast where you can see on your screen. Government accuses PDP of planning to scuttle polls. You'll find details on page 40. Arewa endorses president for another term, just days to the election. And then we have airlift of election materials on. If you were watching the news, you probably would have heard that. That's on page 8. And then a bit of sports. AFCON, Nigeria battles Mali. Oil rises 2% on Saudi OPEC cuts. That's some story for you. Before we go on, just below the masthead, we have Nigeria votes. All the facts and figures about election 2019. You will see details on pages 279 and 42. You will also see Kwara APC excited as appeal court upholds Abdul Razak. Atiku promises to make Lagos industrial hub, and forfeit dead at APC rally in Port Harcourt. That's a worrying headline. At the back of the Nation newspaper, comment and debate is on. We have Reality Bites, head parody. A picture of Buhari is there, so I guess something must give. Go read it up to find details. We have handballs, humiliating exclusion. That's something of interest as well. I won't even ask you to pick. I'll just ask you to speak about this 4 dead at APC rally.
It has become a recurring decimal. 4 dead at APC rally. I think there was a PDP rally at Kano. There was before that you had the APC rally at Taraba. Deaths all over the whole place. And that speaks to the quality of the organization of this event. The APC rally in Port Harcourt was not even as rowdy as some of the rallies we have seen before. And one begins to wonder, so what was causing the death? In the case of Kano PDP rally, it was a massive crowd. And there was stampede, people were slumping, and all those things happened, and people lost their lives. I think the organizers of rallies need to observe these trends and be able to make better plans so that we stop wasting people's lives unnecessarily.
So who is going to be held responsible?
It's the parties.
For this?
The parties.
Are they really
going
to be held responsible at the end of the day?
Who will hold them responsible? That's the truth.
It's quite unfortunate.
As it is right now, yeah.
Which other headline would you like to pick? And I just want
I think I will recover 16 billion Obasanjo government power cash. Is a very funny one. Obasanjo left in 2007. How many years ago was that? 12 years, thereabout. Yes, about 12 years ago. And then the cash will be sitting somewhere in some drawers where the president hoped to be able to grab it and bring it for the people. It doesn't work. And that should tell us that even our anti-corruption issue need to shift from trying to catch people to preventing things from happening. If someone has $16 billion, forget it. Only God can punish such a person. When the money is too much, you bribe everybody along the path. How many of the funds that were stolen abroad have been recovered now? Those are very tough things to do.
Amosu will pay for rally fracas after polls. That's APC speaking. You do remember, for those that might have missed it, there was stones throwing at the rally, and there is accusation that Amosu's supporter, or he might be aware of that. You get to read details of that story on page 14. Why is APC saying he's going to answer for it after the polls? There are two riders to that story. Direct supporters to vote only its candidates. CP removed. Oshibanjo flays government comment. Those are some of the headlines on there. Of course, we have campaign on the front page. And then we have 4,695 card readers destroyed in Anambra. INEC office inferno 34. Seems to be a reoccurring thing. I'm waiting to see what Olojede has to say about it. I'll go to the top mast of the paper. Yes, they have it. CCT trial allow NJC to decide on Nonge's fate. MBA begs federal government. And we also have polls. Supreme Court knocks out APC in Rivers. This is some of the headlines there. This one, bitter campaigns worry Mbazulike Amechi. Who is that and why is he saying what he is saying? You go check page 15. On the flip side of the Vanguard, of course, is sports stories. We'll get to that in a jiffy. Let's just pick Olojede's thoughts on some of these headlines.
I'm also pay for rally fracas after polls. I think for me, what happened in Ogun State was very shameful. And I look at it beyond the party issues that were involved. Let's assume that one of those things they were throwing around had hit the president, a 76-year-old man. God forbid. And he passes out there. All this, I want to be governor, I want to be senator. That is the end of it. All this election on Saturday election, there's nothing like that again. In fact, before they leave that stadium, there might have been deaths up north. So when we do some of these things, we need to think carefully of possible implications of what we're doing and refrain from things that could cause major issues.
All right, we go to the Daily Sun now. Polls, tension builds up. It has a couple of riders. Party straight blames over alleged violence plot. That's it on your screen. PDP will whip on Saturday. That's Shomole speaking. Will liberate Nigeria from you. Seconders, counters. All right, at the top mast on the right-hand side of the Daily Sun, on the front page, you will see Asari Dokubo knocks Nnamdi Kanu, accuses IPOB leader of betrayal. A little bit of intrigue there. 2019 Nigeria votes 3 days to February 16. A quick reminder from the Daily Sun for all of us this morning. PDP sues APC INEC over foreigners' presence at president's rally. How are they doing that? You find details on page 39. ACF endorses Buhari as middle belt leaders back Olawepo Hashimu. That's on page 44. We go quickly to the bottom. There's a pictorial reportage I'd like to mention. Members of various women groups during a road walk to protest violence against women in Benin City, Edo State. That was yesterday. That's it on your screen with a big no to jungle justice. No to violence against women. That's it for you there. We have a couple of recap of the previous headlines, but we'll just take this one. U.S. replies FG, we're not supporting any candidate. A quick flip to the back page of the Daily Sun. We have public forum. There you have it. Election boycott, a vote against democracy. INEC boss is on there. What is Ihe Chukwu talking about? Go read it up for details. Well, let's go to the front page and get Olojede's thoughts on it.
Polls tension builds up. It's natural. The banters from one party to the other. You are trying to cause election violence. No, it is you that is trying to cause election violence. You're not going to be fair. You're not going to be fair. Those banters are going to continue until the election day.
All right, we will move on to This Day newspaper. It should be on your screen any moment. The screamer here is Buhari expresses regret as Supreme Court seals fate of APC candidates in Rivers State. There you have it. Pledges to respect decision. At the top mast of the paper, we have presidency at 1.93% GDP growth. FG's economic policy working. And then we have a rider, analyst call for increased investment. At the bottom, you have, not at the bottom of the paper, just above the masthead, we have Shell and NPC invite bidders for $10 billion Bonga Southwest project. A bit of business for you. Details is captured on page 9 of the paper. We go to the picture side now. Let's see if it will come. There you have it. APC vows to punish Ogun violence promoters, says president's alleged inciting comment a joke. All right, glad you're still with us. The After Press review of newspaper headlines continues. We now have our in-house sports analyst, Felicity Olojede. Thank you very much for coming in.
It's a pleasure being here.
All right, we have complete sports for review and a couple of interesting headlines. Ajax and Real Madrid tonight at 9 p.m. Is it a game we all should be looking forward to?
Yep, it is. It's going to be exciting. It's a game that promises lots of goals. You know, and it's the Champions League night. The knockout stages, you really can't predict what will happen. You know, the last time Ajax played at their stadium was against Bayern Munich in the group stage and ended in a 3-all affair against Bayern Munich. So this should be another high-scoring game with lots of goals.
All right, there are some other headlines here. We'll look at this. Moses grabs assists. That's Mixed debut in Europa win over Zenit.
Yeah.
And then we have, let me just highlight a few of them.
Okay. PSG
slay United, inflict Soldiers' first United loss. Yep. And then Juventus ponder £175 million Salah move. Ronaldo desperate for link-up. We have some other headlines here. Which of them really stands out for you aside from the
Well, let's start off with the PSG slay United. You know, that's the big match that held last night in the UEFA Champions League at Old Trafford. The result was a bit disappointing for United, you know, considering the hopes they had going into the game, you know, in terms of their confidence, their run of form, and that of PSG's injury crisis. But at the end, it showed the gulf between both clubs in terms of the quality they've got. PSG were without star players like Neymar, Cavani, and they were still able to get job done. Although the high point of the match itself had centered on the referee's competence, so to speak. Kimpembe got the first goal for PSG. It should have been sent off as early as the first half, you know, probably the 32nd minute. Pogba was also on the yellow card. He could have been sent off as well as early as 31st minute. And you had the Ashley Young Di Maria incident, you know, the shove off the ball wherein Di Maria, you know, hit his arm against the metal barrier. Young was also on a yellow card at that instance. You know, he could have got sent off as well. So a couple of decisions the referee made that was questionable. At the end of the 90 minutes, you had 11 yellow cards in that match and then 1 red card apparently. But it's a game wherein discipline was, you know, off the radar. The players from both sides, you know, were not disciplined enough to put their tackles in check in terms of getting clean, you know, cut tackles. And I think he should have had at least 2 players sent off in the first half. So the referee missed it on 1 or 2 occasions in there. But in terms of quality, Mbappe, you know, was in there as well, running the second half. Di Maria, for all the awful things that was done to him in terms of the booze, you know, a beer bottle thrown at him, a water bottle thrown at him, you know, he was still able to put in a decent performance, got, you know, 2 assists on the night. It shows the gulf. It's United's first loss under Solskjaer, first in 12 games. It's not a setback, you know. It's a sort of stumble that they can easily recover from. But the run of fixtures is difficult for United going forward. You know, they're going to play Chelsea, they're going to play Liverpool, City's in the Arsenal 2-legged affair within the space of 4 or 5 weeks. So, and injury worries to, you know, is Lingard as well as Anthony Martial, who both pulled off muscle injuries. You get the feeling that now is the test of time. You know, it's the run of test for Solskjaer and his men to really push forward their stake, you know, for Champions League football.
Yeah, we should